Do you ever listen to your own music while you're driving around in the car?
Tell you the truth?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I do. Actually, it's interesting that you asked the question. This project is so new, right? I've only been out, my first song was released about 18 months ago. When you write these songs and record them, I put it down and I go on to the next one. Right. Well, there are days where it's like, well, wait a minute, I'm going to go out and play Too Many Choices. How in the hell does that go again? I got to listen to it. And the place I do is in the car, Listening to music in the car is a different experience, different speakers. I have different cars. I got to, right? It sounds differently in the car. You're usually your emotional state is different. You're going to or coming from someplace, right? So you hear it differently, I think, in those circumstances. I find that to be really rewarding and useful, and I hope I'm experiencing something that the audience experiences. Right? That's my hope.
Now, as part of your process of actually playing and recording the song, you write the music, but once you write the music, do you play from the sheet music, or do you memorize the sheet music and then just play from memory?
We use choices of words in this conversation that are technically not accurate. So we use the phrase, I use the phrase, I write the music. There's nothing written about it whatsoever. I memorize it. These licks are saved on my phone. Every rehearsal that we have, we record. And so I've got all kinds of iterations of these songs as they've evolved to their final state. Actually on a piece of paper or on a computer in that sense.
Fascinating. So at all stages of the creation of this song, it exists pretty much entirely in your head.
Yep, pretty much in my head. That's right.
Do you ever worry that you're going to lose or forget parts of it because of that?
I do, which is why I record it.
Fair enough.
And that's the point of the exercise, right? Because I know I will. The problem is the storage space in upstairs is limited.
Right.
And I know that. And I'm trying to write more and more stuff. And so I got to make room for that stuff. And so some of the stuff that's in there's got to go. And it goes by itself. I don't technically erase it, but it goes. And so by recording it, I can go back to it, and I have it.
Especially in the case of Too Many Choices, but this can be a question for any of your music. How much does the core lick or melody or chord progression of a song change from when you get it in your notes to the final product?
I would say that usually the beginning lick, the magic of the lick, has to be preserved. That has to be preserved. What changes is the craft that I bring to playing the lick. I want to bring the magic out even more, right? I want to accentuate the magic of the lick. And so this notion of the sledgehammer, that image, or the freight train, in my mind, that image of the way that lick feels and is experienced, I want to play it that way. I want the listener to experience and feel that. But that was at the beginning. That was at the core. It was there at the beginning. And that's the key to the thing.
So when you experience something and then you want the audience to experience it, is there a stage in the creation, like for example of Too Many Choices, where you're playing it and recording it and listening back over to it, and you hear it either because you're playing it or playing it back, where you have a moment of realization where you're like, yes, the thing that I want them to feel, that I feel, is right here, like it's happened?
Oh yeah. Absolutely. In fact, that's a really important part of this. We talked about the hard way a few minutes ago about the fact that we had 3 different sessions that were devoted just to the drums of the core verse of the song. Why did we do that? Because we wanted to preserve the original lick. There are times where some of the licks I write are in very strange time signatures. One of the new songs I'm working on, we actually modified it a little bit because it was so wacky, but we wanted to keep the core feeling of this thing, and I think we did that, but we had to modify it because it was just too wonky. So we tried really hard to keep the original feeling. That's important.
So speaking of that original feeling, do you remember where you were, what you were doing when you got the inspiration for that core lick of Too Many Choices?
I practice pretty much in the same place all the time, so most of these licks emanate from that location. I remember, that's where I was, that sort of thing. But it's interesting, the evolution of these licks, they're not quite done necessarily the first time that I play them. The idea, the spark, the direction is there, but it's not quite worked its way out. And if you think about the sledgehammer lick that we're talking about, that evolved. To have it resolve in itself, it had to resolve. And it's the same with that chorus lick. That's a funky little thing, but that had to resolve. And that took work, it took practice, right, and that sort of thing. I think it came out in a neat space, but it wasn't the first time I played it. That wasn't that way.
So you've said a couple different things at different points about like going over and doing stuff over and over again, or revisiting things, looping back around. So would it be fair to say that when in the creation of your music that it's always quality over quantity, in the regards of you're going to sit with it until it's right? It doesn't matter how many takes, how many tries it takes. You're going to maintain certain quality standards. You're going to maintain a certain level of creativity and vision, and you're going to see that realized, and you're just going to put in however much work it takes to get that done.
That's very fair. One could come up with 10 blues songs this afternoon if we wanted to. But that's not what this is about. And so the quality of it is everything. It's really everything. And, sometimes it has to marinade
Right.
for a bit before it's ready. And you got to work at it and let it soak and then put it down, pick it back up, put it down, pick it back up. Some of these things take months. Some of them have taken years. That's okay. But it's got to be right. And the quality is everything.
You've evolved, obviously, and grown as a musician. You're actively working and growing to improve and push yourself in technical ways. Have you ever felt the urge to go back and recreate or change or evolve a piece of music that you've ever made in the past? Or even if you feel like you could change or improve something on it, do you view like essentially putting the rubber stamp on it and setting it free out into the wild as something sacred that you would never touch?
I love that question because I think about it all the time. And where I am today is not where I was when some of these earlier songs were recorded. And so if I could do it again, would I? I asked that question. And then the other question is, should I? And I've chosen to avoid answering that question. I take the easy way out and avoid it for now.
Right.
And the reason is because I think right now the best approach, the best use of my time is to write new music and not go back and reinterpret or reimagine something I've already done. Could that happen in the future? It's possible, but I'm not focused on that.
Now, do you have another project in mind in the future that you're going to be working on soon?
Oh, yeah, it's already underway. I have 12 songs that are done. Too Many Choices is number 10 of 12. And I'm mindful that there's only 2 left after that. And so I need, and I want, and I am working on what I'll call my next album. This album is called Moonshot, and I want to work on the next one. And I've got 4 songs in train at the moment. We're well down the road on these songs, and I've got more coming after that.
So we can expect 2 more songs for Moonshot, and then you're
After
already
Too Many Choices,
After
yeah.
Too Many Choices, we can expect 2 more songs for Moonshot, and then you're already percolating on your next album.
Yep.
Awesome. That's very exciting. It's a nice, exciting place to leave. So I'll leave everybody with that. But thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'm really excited to see what happens when the song comes out and everybody gets to hear it.
I am too. Thanks a million. This was a lot of fun.